Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, and most importantly, the incredible women gathered here today, it is with great joy and honor that I stand before you to speak about something deeply meaningful, the blessings that God bestows upon women. In a world that often tries to define us by external measures, it's important to recognize the inner qualities that truly make us stand out as women blessed by the divine. Being blessed by God isn't about wealth, status, or appearances. It's about how we are shaped by faith, purpose, love, and strength. Today, I want to share with you 8 signs that you as a woman are truly blessed by God. A heart full of compassion and empathy. One of the strongest signs that you are a woman blessed by God is the ability to care deeply for others. Your heart is soft, compassionate, and full of empathy. You naturally put others before yourself, whether it's your family, friends, or even strangers. This selflessness reflects God's love in action, resilience through life's challenges. Life is filled with challenges, and a woman blessed by God knows how to persevere through them. Whether facing personal trials, health struggles, or external obstacles, your strength and resilience shine through. You trust that every setback is part of God's greater plan for you, and you rise from them stronger and more determined. Wisdom and discernment. A woman blessed by God is often granted wisdom beyond her years. You know when to speak and when to remain silent. You make decisions with discernment, guided by faith and prayer. Your wisdom doesn't come from just experience, but from the spiritual insights that God provides you along the way. A spirit of gratitude, no matter the circumstances. You carry a heart of gratitude. You recognize and appreciate the blessings in your life, big or small. You see God's hand in the everyday moments and thank Him for the grace He provides. Your gratefulness inspires others and creates a ripple effect of positivity and joy, unshakable faith and trust in God. A woman blessed by God stands firm in her faith. Even in the midst of uncertainty, you trust that God has a purpose for your life. You don't let fear or doubt dictate your path. Your unwavering faith becomes a beacon of hope for others around you, and it's through your faith that you draw closer to God each day. A love for others and unconditional support. One of the most significant signs of being a blessed woman is the ability to love others unconditionally. Whether it's your family, your friends, or those in need, your heart is open to showing love. You support and uplift others, empowering them to see their own potential and worth. This love reflects God's boundless love for us all, a deep connection to prayer. Prayer is a constant in your life. You understand the power of prayer and you seek God's guidance daily. It is in prayer that you find peace, clarity, and strength to continue walking in His purpose. This connection to God through prayer is what anchors you when life feels chaotic or overwhelming. A life of service and generosity. A woman blessed by God lives a life of service. You know that your blessings are meant to be shared, whether through acts of kindness, volunteering, or helping those in need. You live with the understanding that giving is a form of worship. Your generosity extends not only to others, but also to your community and the world. Being blessed by God is not about achieving perfection or living a life free from challenges. It's about embodying the qualities that reflect God's love, grace, and purpose. As a woman, you are a living testament to His blessings. Continue to walk in faith, serve with love, and trust in the divine purpose He has for you. May you always recognize these signs in yourself and others, and may you be reminded every day that you are indeed a woman blessed by God. A woman who is truly blessed by God has a heart that overflows with compassion and empathy. These are not just mere emotions, but are divine gifts that come from a place of deep understanding and kindness. Compassion is the ability to feel for others, whether they are going through joy or sorrow, and to offer them not just your sympathy, but your true, heartfelt care. Empathy takes this a step further by allowing you to understand and share in the feelings of others, almost as though their struggles or joys are your own. Women blessed by God are often the ones who are first to respond when someone is in need. They're the ones who listen without judgment, the ones who reach out to comfort those in pain, and the ones who offer a helping hand without expecting anything in return. Their love is genuine, rooted not in obligation, but in the deep call to reflect the love of Christ. This ability to empathize with others is not just an emotional response, it is a divine reflection of God's love working through them. It is in these moments of empathy and compassion that women are often able to bridge the gap between different experiences and bring people together. Whether in their families, friendships, or communities, these women play a vital role in healing and creating a sense of connection. Their compassionate nature makes them nurturers of hearts, often finding ways to uplift and encourage others when they are at their lowest. Moreover, a compassionate heart doesn't just stop at emotional care, it leads to action. A woman blessed by God will take that feeling of empathy and turn it into tangible acts of service. It might mean offering support to a friend who's struggling, helping the elderly with their groceries, or volunteering at a shelter for those in need. Her compassion compels her to act and make a real difference in the lives of others, no matter how small the act may seem. In everything, she shows that the most blessed women are not those who receive the most. Compassion and empathy are the hallmarks of God's love. And when these qualities shine through a woman, it's clear that she is walking in the light of his blessings. Another powerful sign that a woman is blessed by God is her resilience in the face of life's challenges. Life is not always easy. There are storms that test our faith, trials that shake us to our core, and moments of darkness that can seem insurmountable. But a woman blessed by God finds a way to endure through these challenges with a strength that is nothing short of divine. Her resilience is a reflection of God's grace and an unwavering belief that no matter the circumstance, she will overcome. Resilience isn't about being impervious to pain. In fact, women blessed by God are often the ones who feel deeply, who experience the weight of the world on their shoulders. But it is in this very vulnerability that God's power is made perfect. It is through their struggles that they grow in faith, character, and strength. Resilience is not the absence of hardship, but the courage to press on even when the path seems uncertain. Think of the women in the Bible like Ruth, Esther, and Mary. They faced immense challenges, but it was their faith and resilience that allowed them to rise above adversity. Ruth, who faced the loss of her husband and could have returned to her family, chose to stay with her mother-in-law Naomi, trusting that God had a purpose for her. Esther, a young woman in exile, stood up to save her people even at the risk of her own life. And Mary, the mother of Jesus, walked a path of faith that requires strength, obedience, and resilience as she witnessed her son's sacrifice. A woman blessed by God draws from this same well of strength when faced with personal challenges, whether they are financial hardships, the loss of a loved one, illness, or moments of doubt. She taps into the spiritual resilience that has been cultivated through prayer, trust, and faith. She understands that though she may stumble, she is never alone. God walks with her, and he provides the strength she needs to carry on. Moreover, a resilient woman does not simply endure her trials, she transforms them. Her experiences, both the triumphs and the setbacks, shape her into a woman of wisdom and grace. She doesn't allow life's challenges to define her. Instead, she allows them to refine her. The adversity she faces becomes a stepping stone toward a greater purpose. She emerges from each challenge not weaker, but more steadfast in her faith, more certain of God's promises, and more aware of her own strength. In every hardship, she is reminded that God has a purpose for her life that goes beyond the moment of difficulty. She remains steadfast, knowing that joy comes in the morning and that God's plans for her are always filled with hope and peace. Her resilience becomes a testimony to others, inspiring them to stand firm in their faith, no matter what trials they may face. A woman blessed by God is often gifted with wisdom and discernment. These gifts are not just about knowledge or intellect. They are divine abilities to navigate life with understanding, clarity, and grace. Wisdom comes not only from experience, but from the deep connection she has with God. It's a supernatural insight into what is true, right, and good, allowing her to make decisions that reflect His will for her life. Wisdom is the ability to see beyond the surface of a situation and to understand the deeper truths that lie underneath. It's knowing when to speak and when to remain silent, when to act and when to wait. A woman blessed with wisdom understands that not all situations need immediate answers or responses, and that sometimes it's the silence and prayer that provides the clearest guidance. She learns to trust that God's timing is always perfect, and her ability to wait for His direction makes her decisions purposeful and grounded in His will. Discernment, on the other hand, is the ability to recognize the subtle spiritual forces at work around her. It is the ability to discern truth from lies, to sense God's direction in moments of confusion, and to detect when something is aligned with His purpose or when it's a distraction meant to lead her astray. For women blessed by God, discernment is a sharp spiritual sense that helps them avoid the traps of the world, stay on the path of righteousness, and make choices that align with their divine calling. Women with wisdom and discernment are often the ones others turn to for guidance. People seek their counsel not because they are experts in every subject, but because they possess a deep understanding that transcends the material world. They offer advice that is not based on human knowledge alone, but on spiritual insight, often pointing others toward God's truth. This wisdom isn't boastful. It is humble, quiet, and deeply rooted in the understanding that all wisdom comes from God. This divine wisdom also manifests in the way a woman leads. Whether she is leading her family, her workplace, or her community, a woman blessed by God exercises wisdom that brings peace, stability, and harmony. She doesn't rush decisions, but takes time to seek God's will, trusting that He will guide her steps. Her leadership is filled with grace, compassion, and a deep understanding of the needs of others. She seeks not to dominate, but to serve, not to control, but to empower, using her wisdom to guide others on the path of righteousness. One of the clearest signs that a woman is blessed by God is her spirit of gratitude. Gratitude is more than just a polite thank you or a temporary feeling. It is a deep, abiding attitude of thankfulness that permeates every part of her life. It is the recognition that all good things come from God and that His grace is abundant, regardless of her circumstances. A woman with a spirit of gratitude understands that God's blessings are not always about material wealth or outward success. They are about the inner peace, joy, and fulfillment that come from knowing Him and trusting in His provision. Gratitude in a woman blessed by God is seen in her daily life. She wakes up each morning with a heart full of thankfulness, recognizing the gift of another day, the opportunity to serve, and the chance to grow. She finds beauty in the simplest moments. Whether it's the laughter of her children, the warmth of a home, or the ability to help someone in need, no matter how big or small the blessing, she recognizes it as an expression of God's goodness. Her gratitude is not dependent on her circumstances, but on the consistent, unwavering belief that God is always present and always good. This spirit of gratitude doesn't just show in moments of abundance. Even in times of hardship, a woman blessed by God still maintains a heart of thankfulness. When faced with difficulty, she chooses to focus on the blessings she has rather than the challenges before her. She knows that God's presence is with her in every season, and that even in the trials, He is working all things together for her good. It's in these moments that her gratitude shines the brightest, as she chooses to trust in God's plan and remain thankful even when the path ahead is unclear. Gratitude also transforms her relationships with others. A woman who is truly grateful for the gifts she's been given is quick to express appreciation for those around her. She recognizes the value of every person in her life, whether they are family, friends, or even strangers. She offers encouragement, affirmation, and kindness because she knows that everything she has is a gift, and she is called to share that abundance with others. Her gratitude becomes contagious, inspiring those around her to also recognize and give thanks for their own blessings. A heart of gratitude also enables a woman to live a life of contentment. She doesn't constantly compare herself to others or chase after fleeting desires, but instead finds peace in the present moment. Her gratitude frees her from envy and jealousy, allowing her to celebrate the successes of others without feeling threatened. She knows that God has a unique plan for her life, and her blessings are perfectly timed according to His will. This sense of contentment leads her to live a life of joy, knowing that she has enough because God is enough. These two expanded points delve into the profound gifts of wisdom, discernment, and gratitude that women blessed by God carry. These divine qualities enrich not only their lives, but also the lives of those they touch, serving as a testament to God's presence and guidance in their daily walks. A woman blessed by God possesses an unshakable faith that stands firm, even in the face of life's uncertainties. Faith is the foundation upon which her life is built. It is the bedrock that holds her steady when storms rage around her and when the future feels unclear. For women who walk in God's blessings, faith is not just a fleeting belief or something they turn to in times of desperation. It is a daily conscious decision to trust in God's promises, even when circumstances might suggest otherwise. Faith is a powerful force that sustains a woman through both triumph and trials. In moments of joy and success, her faith is a reminder to remain humble and to give glory to God for His provision. But in times of difficulty, it is faith that keeps her grounded. When faced with challenges, whether they be personal struggles, the loss of a loved one, financial burdens, or emotional turmoil, she doesn't rely on her own strength, but on the unwavering trust that God will provide. She understands that the trials of life are not a sign of God's absence, but rather opportunities to grow in His grace and to rely on His strength. Unshakable faith means trust in God when the path is unclear and when His plans don't align with what she might have envisioned. It's the faith that Abraham had when God told him to leave everything behind and journey into the unknown. It's the trust that Mary had when she accepted God's calling to become the mother of Jesus, even though it came with societal rejection and personal hardship. Similarly, a woman blessed by God follows God's guidance, even when the road ahead seems uncertain, because she knows He has a purpose and a plan for her life. Faith also allows her to walk with peace in her heart, knowing that God is in control of every situation. Even when the world around her is full of chaos, she holds on to the assurance that God is sovereign and that His ways are higher than her own. This This unwavering trust in God enables her to navigate life's most challenging moments with a calm, confident spirit, trusting that He will lead her through. Moreover, a woman with unshakable faith is an inspiration to others. She becomes a living testimony of God's faithfulness and power. Her faith is evident not just in the good times, but in how she responds to adversity. She offers others hope, encouraging them to trust in God when their own faith falters. Through her, others witness the strength that comes from walking in God's will and trusting Him completely, and they too are encouraged to deepen their own faith. One of the most profound signs of being a woman blessed by God is her ability to love others unconditionally. God's love is limitless and unconditional. And when a woman is blessed by God, she reflects that same love in her interactions with others. Her love is not based on merit or conditions. It is given freely, just as God's love for us is unmerited and unconditional. This love transcends all barriers, be they race, gender, social status, or personal differences, and calls her to see others as God sees them, with compassion, understanding, and a heart full of grace. A woman who is blessed by God does not hesitate to offer unconditional support to those around her. Whether it is her family, friends, or even strangers, her love is consistent and unwavering. She supports those who are struggling, comforts those who are grieving, and encourages those who are lost or discouraged. She recognizes that everyone is on their own journey, and that sometimes the greatest gift she can offer is simply to be present, to listen, and to walk alongside them. Her love does not seek anything in return. It is sacrificial. Just as Jesus laid down His life for humanity, a woman blessed by God will often sacrifice her own comfort, time, and energy for the sake of others. Whether it's staying up late to comfort a friend, sacrificing her own desires to meet the needs of her family, or extending kindness to those who have wronged her, she models the selfless love of Christ. She is generous with her love, and this generosity transforms not only her relationships, but also her community. Furthermore, her love is empowering. She doesn't just give love in a way that makes others dependent on her. It is love that inspires others to rise to their fullest potential. A woman blessed by God encourages others to see the greatness within themselves. She offers her support in a way that strengthens others, helping them to build confidence, face their fears, and step into the purposes God has for their lives. Her love is one that calls others higher, reminding them of their worth and their value in God's eyes. Unconditional love also means forgiveness. A woman blessed by God knows that love cannot truly be unconditional without the ability to forgive. She chooses to let go of resentment, anger, and hurt, understanding that God has forgiven her countless times. When others wrong her, she doesn't hold on to bitterness, but extends grace, just as God has extended grace to her. This act of forgiveness is not only a reflection of God's love, but also a means of healing, both for herself and for the person she forgives. In every aspect of her life, this love shines through. Whether she is a mother, a daughter, a sister, a friend, or a mentor, a woman blessed by God shows love in its purest, most sacrificial form. Her love becomes a living witness to the power of God's love in the world.